We're joined now by Mike Leon, the Policy and Strategy Director at the Free and Equal Elections Foundation, to talk about the Republican primary race as we head into Super Tuesday. Mike, great to have you with us. Breaking news as Haley breaking Trump's winning streak with her win in D.C. Is it enough to show that she can beat him elsewhere?
Kevin, good morning. Good to see you, buddy. I don't think that it's going to show. If you look at the how many delegates were awarded in D.C., how many folks actually came out to vote, there's only about 22,000 or so registered Republicans in D.C. So obviously the Trump campaign made the statement about, the swamp has claimed their queen. And obviously Haley's campaign has said, D.C. Republicans that are very close to this are noticing the chaos that the Trump administration would bring with them. So I think it's very small sample size of Republicans. Again, this is kind of the optics of, what the package just referred to there about independent voters. Would they be swayed to come over? More of the moderate Republicans, would they be swayed to vote in these upcoming primaries that are going to happen on Tuesday? I don't know. We're going to wait to see. And it's going to be interesting to watch in a couple of states for sure.
Yeah, just such a deep blue jurisdiction there. And actually, Nixon had a little bit of a better chance there, coming out with 21%. But mostly, it's pretty deep blue. Trump is well ahead in the polls in the Super Tuesday states. The polls have been fairly accurate in the GOP primary thus far. Clearly, Haley sees these polls and these indexes, yet she's adamant on staying in the race. What is driving her forward and bringing optimism to her calculations, showing her a light at the end of the tunnel?
Well, I don't know about the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't see one either, Kevin. We're laughing about it here, but it's a math problem. I was on last night on my show with a Democratic strategist. We were talking about both campaigns, and it's right now she has money, even though the Koch brothers have pulled out of her campaign recently, and their super PAC has said that they're not going to be donating to Nikki Haley. So the question will be for tomorrow, margins of victories in some of these states, and really, can she win, let's say 2 to 3, that keeps her around until at least the convention? Because there's no way right now, if you just look at the 15 or so states that are going to be voting on Super Tuesday, you got Alabama, Tennessee, Texas. She's not going to win any of those deep red states that right now primary voters are saying they're going to vote for Donald Trump. The question will be, can she swing like a Colorado, a Virginia? It'll be interesting to see what happens in there. I don't know what's motivating her. She said numerous times that, the party hasn't coalesced around him and that 40% of the party is saying that they want somebody else. That's great and all, but again, this is a math problem. 100 minus 40, Kevin, is 60. So that means more than 60% of the party is with Trump. So why is she staying in it? I don't know.
Yeah, and Trump's well ahead in even the deep blue state of California as well. Trump has outsized momentum heading here into Super Tuesday. How much of a role is that going to play as Haley goes all in tomorrow?
Well, she's going all in tomorrow. And again, I think the biggest thing, talking with different strategists and folks familiar with her campaign's thinking, it's a wait for 2028. Because she even said it on Meet the Press this past Sunday that she doesn't have to endorse Donald Trump. And I think, depending upon margins of victory, if she can make a dent, et cetera, like we just talked about, maybe she sits around and whatever happens with Trump's legal cases, and maybe he doesn't even win in November, and she says, I told you so. And here comes November of 2028, and maybe she can come back into the party's good graces and be the eventual nominee for that side of the party. I don't know what her political aspirations are beyond this, but we all see it on the writing on the wall that there is pretty much 0 to no chance of her winning on Tuesday, maybe 1 or 2 states. So I really don't know the political aspirations, but I think that's her motivation right now, is to give you the old I told you so after this is all said and done.
Okay, so Mike, really briefly, looking back to 2016, there was a real contest going on, and it was Super Tuesday where Trump took control, and he actually lost Texas, but now this time he's up about 64% in Texas. Is there any daylight for Haley coming out of tomorrow?
2016 was vastly different, obviously, with Ted Cruz in the race, with John Kasich in the race. You had a bunch of other candidates that, at least could make a dent in the states. You saw what happened in the Iowa caucus, and Trump didn't even win. So, I think 2016 and 2024 are vastly different than now, because you had a Trump presidency, and obviously in 2020 and what he did in those margins. So, it's vastly different to compare what happened then to what happened now. The party is incredibly different, as we've talked about in different segments. I just don't see it. Again, the data is showing that the majority of GOP primary voters right now, just from looking at Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina, They are all going out to the polls, regardless of weather, regardless of time the polls close. It doesn't matter. They're going out there and they're overwhelmingly saying that Donald Trump is their favorite right now and who they want to represent them come November.
Mike Leon, the Policy and Strategy Director at the Free and Equal Elections Foundation, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kevin.